Welcome back to Sports Corner. Glad you can tune back in. I've got my notes ready, so let's get into the numbers. This week, everybody, we are previewing the Week 5 matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-1 this season. They are first in the AFC North. They just come off their first loss of the season against the Colts. Offensively, they're 17th in the league. They've got a total of 1,271 yards, and they average 317.8 yards a game. Passing yards, they have 757 yards. They average 189.3 yards per game. That's 22nd in the league. Rushing wise, they've gained 514 yards, 128.5 yards per game. That's 10th in the league. And points, they've scored 75 points for 18.8 average. That's 24th in the league. Defense wise, this is where Pittsburgh Steelers excel. They are 4th in the league in defense. All right. They've given up 1,045 yards for a 261.3 yard average. Passing, they've only given up 698. They average only giving up 174.5 yards, which is ninth in the league. Rushing, they only give up 347 yards this year. That's 86.8 yards average, third in the league. And they've only given up 53 points with a 13.3 average. That's second in the league, okay? But how the Steelers doing individually, okay? Offensively, their quarterback, Justin Fields, has completed 77 passes of 109 attempts. That's 830 yards for those. A 7.6 average. He averages 207.5 yards per game. He's thrown a longest passing completion of 55 yards. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's been sacked 10 times for 73 yards. And he has a passer rating of 98 yards. Or 98, okay? That's his passer rating. Rushing, Najee Harris, he's got 68 attempts for 228 yards, 3.4 average, 21 is his longest run. He's got 2 plays of 20 yards, 0 rushing touchdowns. That will change this week. And he averages 57 yards a game, which that will change too. And also, Justin Fields is a threat for running. Justin Fields has 38 carries for 145 yards. That's a 3.8 average. He's got a 16 longest run. He's scored 3 rushing touchdowns. He averages 36.3 rushes a game. Okay, he's fumbled 3 times though, so watch for that. Watch for Fields fumbling the ball. And he's got 11 rushing first downs. So also look for him to run the ball when they need a first down on short yardage, okay? But we also need to watch Marvion Overshawn and Justin Fields this week because that's going to be a good battle. I think that's really going to tell who's going to win this game if Overshawn can spy Fields and keep him limited to what things he does. All right, I believe that's going to be the big matchup for the week. Who does Justin Fields like to throw the ball to? Well, he's got George Pickens, okay? George Pickens has 20 catches for 284 yards this year on 29 targets. That's a 14.2 average. His longest pass is 40 yards. He's caught a 40-yard pass. He's got 5 plays of 20-plus yards, 71 yards average. That's 1 fumble. He's got 40 yards after the catch, so watch for that. And he's got 12 receiving first downs. So when Pittsburgh needs a first down, they're either going to have Justin Fields run it or George Pickens catch it. So look for that. Watch those moments, okay? He also throws to Pat Fremont. Okay, Pat is a tight end. He's got 17 catches on 156 yards on 20 targets. That's 9.2 yards per game. 1 touchdown. His longest run is 29 yards. He's got 1 play of 20 plus, 39.4 average, 78 yak yards. Okay, so when he catches it, he's a threat for getting more yards after the catch. So we got to get him on the ground. So watch that. And he's got 8 receiving first downs. Okay. So what makes this Pittsburgh Steelers defense so good? Well, Deshaun Elliott, for one thing. He's got 17 solo tackles, 13 assists for 30 total tackles this season. He's got 1 tackle for loss, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. Okay? Minka Fitzpatrick has 18 solo tackles, 7 assists, 25 total tackles. Patrick Queen, he's got 11 solo tackles, 10 assists, 21 tackles for total, and 1 tackle for loss. Okay, as a team, this defense has 17 solo tackles, 95 assist tackles for 252 total tackles, okay? They have 11 sacks, 20 tackles for loss as a team, 4 interceptions, and they also have 2 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovery as a team. Okay, so defensively, these guys are one of the best in the league. All right. So let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. All right, they're 2-2 this season. They are second in NFC East behind the surprising Washington Commanders. Their offense is 13th in the league. They have 1,323 total yards at 330.8 yards average. That's 13th in the league as total offense. Okay. Breaking it down, passing, they've got 1,023 yards. They average 255.5 yards per game, which is 4th in the league. They rushed 301 yards this season, a 75.3 average, which is 32nd in the league, which is dead last. Okay, the Dallas rushing attack is dead last in the league. Points, they've scored 104 points, 26 points per game, which is 28th in the league, which is still almost at the bottom. So this Dallas defense is at the bottom of the league. All right. So let's talk about some individual stats for Dallas offensively. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has completed 96 passes this year, have 149 for 1,072 yards. That's 64.4%. 7.2 average per game. 268 yards per game. His longest pass this year is 65 yards. He's thrown 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he's been sacked 10 times for 56 yards, and his passer rating is a 96.3. All right, so now let's talk about this dreadful rushing attack led by Rico Dowdle. He's got 34 carries on 134 yards. That's a 3.9 average. His longest run is 10 yards. He averages 33.5 yards per game. He's got 8 rushing first downs, okay? So when Dallas needs a rushing first down, typically they give it to Rico, okay? Zeke, he's got 24 carries for 81 yards this year, a 3.4 average. Justin Fields averages just about as much as Dallas's running game than anybody else. Terrible. His longest run is 9 yards. He has a 20.3 yards per game average, and he has 4 rushing first downs. It's dreadful. This running game is dreadful. I can't tell you how dreadful it is because it's dreadful. I say this every week, every video. The Dallas rushing game is terrible. Okay. Passing. CeeDee Lamb. He throws the ball at him. CeeDee Lamb has 20 catches for 316 yards. That's a 15.8 average on 32 targets. 2 touchdowns. His longest catch is 65 yards from Dak. He's got 4 plays of 20-plus yards, okay? He averages 79.4 yards a game. He's got 154 yak yards. That's good. He catches the ball, and he makes things happen. That's what you want your receivers to do. Make things happen when they catch the ball, okay? And he's got 11 first down catches. All right. Jake Ferguson. He's got 16 catches, 159 yards on 23 targets. That's a 9.9 average. His longest catch this season is 26 yards. He's got 2 20-plus yard catches, 53 yards after the catch, or 53 yards a game, 71 yards after the catch. And let's talk about this Dallas defense, which every week we started off by leading tackler Eric Kendrick, okay? Eric Kendrick has 20 solo tackles, 22 assists, 42 total tackles. He's got 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 interception. This is by far the best pickup Dallas has this offseason is Eric Kendrick, okay? DeMarvion Overshown, he's got 18 solo, 11 assists, 29 total tackles. And you got to remember, in the second week, he didn't play as much. So those numbers could be better. He's got 1 sack and 1 tackle for loss. All right. As a total defense, this Cowboy team has 191 solo tackles, 109 assists, 300 total tackles, 8 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles for the season. So let's talk about the Cowboy injuries. Brandon Cooks is going to be out. He had an infection after a surgery last week, so he's going to be out for a week or 2 at least. Kalen Carson's questionable. Marquise Bell's questionable again. Micah Parsons is doubtful. D-Law, he's on injury reserve. That hurts. That injury hurts a lot. That's going to be really bad for Dallas this year because they're already low on the defensive tackles and they're not good on the line of scrimmage on defense as it is. That's going to be hurtful. Pittsburgh injuries: James Daniels on IR, Isaac Sekumalo's questionable, Alex Highsmith's out, Russell Wilson's questionable. In summary, look, this Dallas defense can't stop the run, and they can't run the ball. Pittsburgh can run the ball, and they can stop the run. So it doesn't look good for Dallas. Dallas really needs this win because after this, it just gets tougher and tougher each week for the next few weeks, and this thing could spiral out of control quickly. Dallas could actually be out of the playoffs this week if they lose. Look, last week's game, Pittsburgh should have won that game. They had a fumble by George Pickens down by the 5. They didn't start the game well, but they did lock it down after they did start playing well. So look for Pittsburgh to come back out this week and lock Dallas down the first of the game, throughout the game, because they know they didn't play well last week. So they're looking to play well this week against America's team, Dallas Cowboys, as everyone does. So I just don't think this game is going to go for the Cowboys. Look for the Cowboys to lose, probably, I don't know, 30-17. That's what I'm thinking. 30-17. Dallas loses. They'll be 2-3. Pittsburgh will be 4-1. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. And please check my other channel out, The Cecil Show. It's a comedy channel. If you like comedy, The Cecil Show.